Guys, so now that we are masters on simplifying, this is day 2, and we are going to talk about, after simplifying my expression, how can I check my answer to make sure it's simplified correctly? Okay, so to check, evaluate the original and the simplified, and you're going to ask yourself, are they equivalent? So the beginning of this week and last week we talked about equivalent expressions. Now we're using that equivalence to check to make sure my answer is correct. All right, so our steps are still the same from yesterday. We're going to identify like terms and sort them into groups. And then we're going to combine using integer operations. Just adding, subtracting, etc. All right, and then we're going to check our answer by evaluating the original and the answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and identify our groupings. All right, so the first term that I see is an X, so that's what I'm going to identify as my first group. So anything that just has an X. So I see an X here, I see 40X there, and negative 9X. So that's going to be my first group. So X plus 40X minus 9X. And remember, if it's just an X, it has a 1 in front of it. All right, next term to make my next group, let's use triangles. This is going to be my number group. So the other number that I see is negative 1. So negative 39 and negative 1. And then lastly, I can't forget about this last term, is an x squared term. So that is going to be my last group. And it only has one thing in it, so that is fine. It is still in its own group though. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and simplify using my calculator. So I get 32, and I need to put that X because it was my X group. Here I get negative 40, and it is just a number, so it stays by itself. And then when I don't have anything to simplify it with, that is just going to stay the same. Okay, so my simplified answer, when I put that all together, is 32x plus negative 40 plus 1x squared. Okay, so if I want to check my answers, I need to check for equivalence. So I'm going to check two things. First, I'm going to check the original. So I'm going to write the original. The original was 1x minus 39, and my original is here, so that's where I'm getting this from. And then I'm going to check my simplified. Okay, and how do I check? I need to check to see if they are equivalent. So I need to pick my variable. So let's let x equal, I don't know, what do we want x to equal this time? Let's say 1. And again, wherever I see an x, I'm going to change it for a 1. And I'm going to do that in both expressions. Everything else stays the same. Okay, and now I'm going to simplify. Just because these are so big, I'm going to simplify one chunk at a time. So I'm going to do my multiplications first. Just so I don't make a mistake in my calculator. But I can do it all at once. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and type this in. Okay, so when I simplify all of this in my calculator, I got -7. And over here, I did the same thing, and I also got -7. All right, so that shows me that they're equal. Okay, so that means my answer is correct. So, since they are equivalent, my answer is correct. Okay. So to simplify means to create an equivalent expression. So what we did when we simplify or combine like terms is we're just creating a smaller equivalent expression. So therefore, I know my answer is correct if, when evaluated, I get the same numbers. All right, so anytime you want to check your answer and make sure you are correct, just plug in. Are they the same? Yes. Good to go. As always, if you have any questions, put them in at the end of the video.